Welcome. Now you can see what's really behind me, behind the green screen. There's a green wall. Yeah, interesting. So, what you're about to see is a really rough cut of my stream from Sunday night before my regular stream when I was talking about what games I would like to play next and what might be interesting for you to check out. So, go ahead and watch the video. You can skip around with the timestamps below in the description, and there's even some additional games and links if you'd like to look at some more games beyond what's in the video. Please, please, please comment and leave whatever sort of suggestions and positive, negative feedback you want to leave on as many games as you want to talk about, and I will take note of all of it. So here's the idea. I think I might have found my little niche here, my little corner of streaming little internet place on YouTube that I like to call Nostalgia Plays. And what I discovered is graphic adventure games are good. At least Life is Strange anyway. So far, there's been a lot of pros. I get a lot of viewer interaction because I get to ask people what I should do, and those decisions actually have an effect in the game. And I mean, it's pretty good story. You just kind of get to sit back, and even when I'm not actively playing the game, it's an interesting story to watch. And so that's cool. The cons, of course, is that sometimes it is just kind of like watching a movie, and sometimes there isn't a whole lot of action. Like, especially during those talking scenes where I'm just kind of exploring, looking for something, there isn't a whole lot going on as, let's say, Overwatch, where there's constant, battling, shooting and stuff going on. Even when there is something interesting happening in Life is Strange, it isn't very action-oriented. The original reason why I started this was so I could play the games that I already have on Steam that I haven't beat. Now, it just so happens that I can continue this graphic adventure kind of phase. These games aren't exactly the same, except they're all very different. So with a $0 budget, I could still play more graphic adventure games. So one of these games is called Amnesia: The Dark Ascent. More like you're more exploring. It's more like a horror survival game. Even I might not even say it's like a graphic adventure at all, really. I know I've played it a little bit. I know there's a lot of running away and that kind of stuff. Let me see if I can go full screen. If you're into the sort of horror vibe, please comment below. Let me know if that's something that you are interested in. I know this is kind of an older game. It was popular a while back, but I think it's pretty cool. So that's one game. I don't think it actually went full view for you guys, but I don't even know if you could see the video. Next on my list is Game of Thrones. So now this is much more like a graphic adventure game. It's Game of Thrones universe. I don't think you really need to know Game of Thrones to understand the game, but it's very similar to the game I'm playing now. You play as a character, you wander around. There isn't like actual like fighting sequences or anything. Though there are some of those, button reaction games. And so you play it, you kind of make decisions, and that affects other characters in the game. Next is Jurassic Park, which is another Telltale game. Like I said, they're kind of known for these kind of games, and that once again is very similar to this Game of Thrones game, and pretty similar to Life is Strange. So I actually played it in an earlier video in the same series, so if you go through my playlists on YouTube under my Sunday Steam stream, you'll see my first video of this game. It was fun. It's kind of silly. I kind of like making fun of it, though. I think that's part of the fun. Next is Riven, which is kind of going a different direction. All right. Now, this game is pretty old school. It actually goes back to the precursor of the graphic adventure, which is basically the point-and-click game. As you can see, there isn't even a video for this game because, while there is some live footage right here, there is no video. The entire game is made up of screenshots, but they're not like perfectly still. You can sort of walk around in them. That's the pre-rendered graphics. It actually looks pretty amazing, especially for its time. But it's very puzzle oriented. So instead of making decisions, you're actually playing the game. There's actually puzzles you're actually trying to solve. You're trying to explore the world itself. So it's interesting in that you get like the viewers could help me try to solve puzzles and figure things out. So those are my $0 budget games, point and click. But as I was saying, we don't have to play point and click. I actually own some other games. Now, two of those which are very popular, so I'm not even going to show a video for that, are Skyrim or Fallout. Obviously, very similar games, role-playing games. There's a ton of different decisions and things that can be made. Maybe even the viewers could help me make the character at the beginning. That could be pretty fun. And basically, the idea is like, do you like fantasy or do you like post-apocalypse more? Basically, same game. Next one is Guild of Dungeoneering. Now, this is actually, I never beat this game. I got pretty far in it. So these little dungeons you go through with your little guy, and you try to gain power-ups and items throughout the dungeon. But in this game, you create the dungeon as you go, and you fight with these cards. So it's a card-based system. Cards have different attacks, and you play cards. You see, like right here, you play cards to defeat enemies. And so this is not the most interesting combat to watch. And so I don't know if this would be the best game to live stream, but I personally really enjoyed it. The art and humor is very funny. Stardew Valley is a farm simulator. I know that doesn't sound very interesting, but it's also kind of like an exploring adventure game. You can, like I said, you can work on your farm, you can do a variety of things, but there's actually like an entire little world here where you can talk to people, and they all have jobs, and they all have their own likes and dislikes, and you can even have relationships and get married. There's fishing, farming, there's even fighting. There's a combat area of the game where you have to go in and you have to fight things. There's puzzles and mysteries to solve, basically everything. Just heavily farm themed. It's, you know, overwhelmingly positive in the reviews. It's an amazing game. State of Decay is kind of just like another zombie game. There is a little bit of an interesting thing going on here, which is like in the game you can set up these little bases. And so the guys, your teammates, you can sort of find new survivors. So it's kind of like you can go around the town. It's kind of open world. And you can find new survivors, you can bring them back, and they'll give you new abilities and new things to do. But then you also have to feed these people. And so when you're not playing the game, the people actually keep going. It runs some kind of simulation. And so they will continue to eat and scavenge and find things for you when you're not playing the game. Build shelters, and you're sort of in control of that. What kind of supplies do you look for? Because if someone dies, they die for money. For the Switch, I could use it for new games instead. And so I was kind of looking through some more graphic adventure games. And so there's a couple. There's The Journey Down, Gods Will Be Watching, The Secret of Monkey Island. And also Undertale isn't a graphic adventure game, but it's a pretty popular indie game that I've never played. And I know a lot of people love it, so that'd be interesting to play. Please let me know what you think below in the comment section. Check it out.